Alright, let's fire up the stream, see how everything is going, get our prediction up. Let's set it for 15. And let's go ahead and figure out who's on what. Set that to 15 minutes. U.S. Marine Corps versus Panama Defense Force. Alright. Yeah, I can't fit the entire thing in there, but oh well. Crack it. Let's go. Alright, our prediction is live. Hope you're all doing a-okay. Testing some rebalanced audio levels, and hopefully that will be deja vu. Something updated with my computer in OBS, and it's throwing all the levels out of whack, so it's like, ugh, what can you do? Anyway, this is going to be Blue 4 versus Op 4. Blue 4 is U.S. Marine Corps. Op 4 is Panama Defense Force. This is Operation Just Cause, which was a late Cold War operation for the U.S. to take control of the Panama Canal after the Panamanians, the people of Panama tried to take it over. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about our objectives here. So OFCRA, it's a 1 hour, 30-minute PvP match. There are multiple objectives. Whichever side is able to score the most points out of those objectives will win the match itself. Otherwise, there is a neutral objective today for whoever controls this naval base by the end of the match. That is worth 2 points. Looks like we have been passed in, so that's the sound of a bunch of people getting passed into TFAR. 8-minute warm-up on the scene, so we'll have a little bit of overtime for betting as the mission actually starts up. But otherwise, whoever controls this naval base by the end of the mission will gain 2 points. Blue 4 have to destroy 2 artillery pieces by the hour 15 mark. Each is worth a point. There is a spy that has to be brought to a rescue point, which I'm looking for. And I don't see anywhere specifically, so, we'll probably have to look on the map, but I would assume it's actually this little blue area here. Killing the enemy commander also gives you a point survival bonus if you win with more than 8 people alive. Or no, you win points if you have more than 8 people alive at the end of the game, worth 3 points. Also, the rescuing of the spy is worth 2 points. I would imagine Blue 4 has a way to land forces over here in this little marshland that they've created, which, by the way, this was definitely made with Deformer. This type of area does not exist normally, so it's kind of cool. Unless Colombia updated and added it, because I've actually never seen this on the map before ever, so really cool area, and it is kind of, weird. Maybe, who knows, but basically just adds a bunch of little Mayan temples around. Neat. Maybe I've just never seen that before, which is also quite possible. Regardless, Op 4 have to protect 2 artillery pieces, keep the spy in the red zone so the spy's not killable, kill the enemy commander, and then they also have a survival bonus. So the maximum score you can get is 10 points. So we'll be keeping that in mind. If you want to follow along with those objectives, you just have to type !mission. And I think all the purple triangles represent vehicles that if anyone gets caught alone, they can use those to basically field themselves back into the fight. So we will see how all of that goes. Excuse me. All right. Well, nonetheless, we'll see what you guys decide on the mission breakdowns. Go ahead and look over at Op 4 because they appear to be the ones mainly playing defense here. We've got some BTRs in play. Honestly, I can't tell if these are 60s or 70s. They kind of look 60-esque to me. But otherwise, we have a bunch of Gazes, Panamanian forces. We've got some Springfields with scopes on them.
Guys, can you pass,
and some 20-round FNFALs.
Yeah.
And some Sterling submachine guns. Interesting.
Thank you.
I also see some AK-74s with UGLs in play, some super bazookas.
Chicken, I get you in a second. Look around.
And that appears to be at some RBR-80s, I believe, which are single-shot AT launchers, which to me shows that Blue 4 does have some armor capabilities. And we have a 30-round FAL with a bipod that's meant to be the auto rifleman for the group. Looking at the other position over here, we got 2 more BTRs. I know, the AKS-74U with the GL on it. We have an SPG-9 car. Interesting. Otherwise, weaponry appears to be the same. Looks like we have an SVD in play as well. Crewmen have Scorpions. Got some PKMs in play. But that appears to be it. Let's go ahead and look at Blue 4. Blue 4 appear to have some Humvees, a tow Humvee, a 50 cal, multiple 50 cal Humvees actually, and then some boats they can tow into the water and then take those to ride in. So we're probably going to see M16A2s and some M60s. Definitely, we got some 203 launchers, we got some AT4s, Alice packs, some SMODs, and Marksman's going to be a Mark 14. Interesting. Other little Blue 4 group over here is just a small reserves group, but they also have, oh, they've got a GMG Humvee, as well as multiple 50 cal Humvees. They also have access to two boats with 50 cals on the front, which means this group up here has to be the helicopter crew. We've got a Sea Stallion. Is it armed in the back? It is. So they've got the air mount there with the 50 cal. And then we have a Venom gunship with multiple rocket pods and M134 miniguns. All right. Interesting. Otherwise, these guys appear to just have the standard armament that everyone else has. All right. Well, I'd imagine the Sea Stallion's probably going to try to land and grab the Spy. Spy could very well not gain any points if he's cut off in between the areas here. All I know is the Spy is somewhere in this red zone, and this is a very well-defensive red zone, but it's going to be a bit tough for OPFOR to get in there. The support base, I believe, has the artillery pieces that both sides are trying to attack and defend. Now, where they are specifically, all right, so there's one. Basically, it's artillery tanks, and I imagine the other is tucked away right here. Yep. Really cool getup that they've made in here. I appreciate that. Definitely some sim disabled, though, so they could fit the things in here. But all right, so those are the two objectives both sides are fighting for. So OPFOR pretty much needs to send this group down to the Spy and this group over to the support base. They could just throw the Spy somewhere randomly in the forest and then reconvene on the support base itself. But I don't know. We'll just have to see how the forces deal with everything. But otherwise, guys, how are you all doing? Today we're going to be having quite a few different streams. You know, OFCRAs right now. We've got a POG Halloween meme op tonight. I'm going to be doing some mission dev, showing off the gate scenario. I'm doing a lot of research on it right now with mods and components of that. That's going to be running Saturday. And then I have to make Karma Cuts mission, and then I have to make a 40K mission. So there's a lot of mission dev tonight. Now, as always, I want to fit some Dark Tide in as well. Not going to lie, though, I'm kind of disappointed with Oryx at the moment because I keep running into... It's just so crazy right now. So we'll get everything going. I'm not 100% sure I'll have Rory ready for... Well, I can have like a discount version ready, but there's a version I want to work on. I gotta talk to Devourkin about that. Gonna have some coffee and enjoy myself here. Otherwise, beyond that, I mean, Blue 4 basically have to reconvene, send a force over to grab the Spy immediately and move him. They've got air support. They've got some pretty superior vehicle choice, in my opinion, as well. I'd rather take a 50 cal Humvee that has more maneuverability than the a BTR 60 or 70, because that thing can just, be monstrous. It's going to be a long evening now, so going to be having a lot of coffee and seeing what I can do to work with everything. I'm going to be honest, I'm most excited for the dragons. I got to look into how they work, but I'm not going to stream how they work because I don't want to give anything away, because if I figure out how to kill it, but I stream how it's killed, all of you are just going to, you know, use it. What I would appreciate, though, is if you guys want to do some of the work for me, there's two things I'd like people to look into for me. Number one, well, I think it's safe to say their SPG-9 works. Number one, a horse mod that the AI actually can use. because I'm having a little bit of trouble finding horse mods at the moment that the AI don't immediately glitch out on. And number 2 is some magic mods. I know they exist, I'm just having difficulties finding them. But everything else I have, those are just little extra bells and whistles. I just, there's gonna be 2 gate ops I make. The first one's gonna be this weekend, the second one's gonna be sometime in December. That one's gonna be the real enchilada, but this one's just gonna be a showcase of all the toys I can use. Yeah, and that's exactly my problem is I can't have Empire Cavalry if AI don't use the horses, so there's not much I can do in that regard. But otherwise, focusing back on the mission real quick, we have an OFCRA convoy going north. We have a BTR also going north. These guys have all completely split apart, and then we've got this force over here. Did they crash, or...? No, they were holding for some weird reason. All right. I was seeing if there was any disconnects and someone might have been crashing out, but that's not the case. We already have a Blue 4 convoy coming in. They're going to be utilizing the bridge to immediately get down. Maybe that's why that BTR is coming around to potentially cut it off. But, yeah, no, the UAZs are just cutting north. I really don't understand why. Like, there's nothing up here. Of course, who am I to judge the Giga Chad strategies that OFCRA comes up with, but sometimes they're really, really cool, and others I'm kind of scratching my head wondering what the heck they're doing. But it looks like Blue 4 over here is taking a majority of the boats, and it looks like the helicopter crews are kind of locked in here. Probably so they don't immediately rush out to the spy location and take it. Thus to give OPFOR time to actually set up their defenses here. I know there is a Warhammer mod that has necromancers and skeletons. That's what I'm thinking of doing, Lego. I'm just wondering if there's anything else out there, because I think it's dependent on some of the bigger mods like TIOW. And if I have to add TIOW, that greatly changes the game from a mission development standpoint, because TIOW relies on a weapon rework mod that changes literally how every gun works. So there's going to have to be a lot of testing if I decide to incorporate that, because it breaks guns. It breaks everything that TIOW like that isn't meant for TIOW to some hilarity. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, like I said, I'm literally going. I've built the framework for it in terms of testing for the mod set. I'm now going to build the components of the mod set that I want to build. I can have a full teleporting gate, by the way. It's actually really cool, but that's because of stalker anomalies. But then I'm going to just slowly add extra components and then retest everything every step of the way on mods that I know will break things, because, you know, of course they break things. Why? The only thing I can think of is they're trying to drive an SPG-9 car up here to potentially snipe. No, that's too far. So why do we have... Do they think Blue 4 is going to land right here? Are they thinking Blue 4 is going to go for a really quick LZ? Like right there? There's so many other places they can land. Why?
Where are you guys at?
Why risk it? Yeah, it looks like OPFOR is actually just banking on Blue 4 making a few different landing areas. Blue 4, meanwhile, veered off the bridge and are now going to cross on foot because they're worried about being ambushed right there. That gave time for the BTR to actually get there and dismount. I'm going to be honest, I think the... Yeah, they were here by the time the BTR was over here, so they could have actually sped through. OFCRA, they play very, very defensively. They're not really the type to rush because, you know, they're grown up on hour-and-a-half long missions, and if they spend the first 5 minutes rushing and dying, well, that's it for them. So they get very, very defensive and overly cautious, and some of these plans, don't get me wrong, how OPFOR is set up over here, for example, with the fact that we've got them overlooking a river, and we do have the Marines actually coming in and landing over here. This is smart. This is a great idea, because this is, you know, going to deny this route, and then you got this vehicle over here to deny that route, and they're basically denying Blue 4 the ability to land over here to get in the forest and move into the support base. That's smart. That's a guarantee because of, you know, Blue 4 having control of these rivers right here. But all of these Op 4 elements over on these LZs, I mean, maybe you can make the argument these guys could then come over and assist if boats are coming down, but it's... The only other thing I can think of is they're spreading their forces out so much that if they detect an incursion somewhere, they can pull units quickly to come and reinforce, which will make gaps in their lines, but it's better to go out and engage elements and have superiority and then regroup and push other weaker elements, but still. And I think Blue 4 knows that there is a potential danger zone here, and they do. 50 cal immediately opens up and starts striking at a hidden BTR over here, so that group's gonna back away. Yeah, that BTR, not really the smartest thing to put it right in the open mouth. They should have tried to hide it a little more on the flank, like more inland, and then when they identified it, immediately pulled it out and then started gunning it down, because that's pretty much given away the element of surprise there. And now Blue 4 are gonna pull their forces back and regroup accordingly, but we do have a UAZ potentially coming over to now try to flank it, but by then these guys are going to be fully dismounted and move around here. These guys, I can only assume they didn't want to touch the bridge, and instead they're going to try to go north and cross, but crossing north is kind of weird because it doesn't really leave you any avenue. The only thing I can think of is they're actually going to land the helicopters over here, and these guys are coming over to basically secure the LZ, because otherwise, why not go south? Or hell, why cross the bridge there when you can just come around over here and then cross over here to then move to the spy location? Like, this is a really weird play to me. The fact that Op4 is here covering this LZ is a weird play to me, but here's another thing. I'm an outsider, all right? I cover a bunch of different operations, and once in a blue moon I'll miss an op, you know? But OFCRA, they play with each other every week. They've got the hidden bonus, or not the hidden, the bonus round afterwards, which I normally don't cover. And then they'll also usually participate in the same groupings of events. I don't always cover everyone together because I'm busy with all these other ops. So these people are able to get into each other's heads better than I am on theirs. So when I, as an outsider, am trying to figure out what two commanders are doing and why, I'm not going to see the things that the, you know, someone commanding one side is A, going to be doing, and B, he sees who his enemy commander is, and since they've known each other for so long, they're probably going to know what plays they're going to make. So I'm assuming, again, this to me looks like Blue 4 crossing to secure this LZ. Op 4 somehow knows that that LZ is going to be used, so who knows? And we just saw one of the guys down here with an Igla, so yeah, Blue 4 might go for a very defensive LZ, and this could work because this allows them to unify all their forces and push south. Now, I'm going to be honest, this position's terrible, because now you've got this massive open field you got to cross. The only way to really cross it is go through a village. Maybe Blue 4 is banking on the fact that Op 4 is not going to risk pushing forces all the way out here, but there's so many mistakes in this plan, and I'm gonna be honest, it looks like Blue 4 is actually going for it, which to me is like, why do you have the infantry over here to go and reinforce if that's what they're going for? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much wrong with this, and Op 4 is just somehow predicted every step of the way.
We're moving as well. We're doing...
No way. No way. No bloody damn way. What are the cracking damn odds? Are you... Pull it out! Pull... No! No, you... They actually shot the pilot. They actually shot the pilot. TK Llama sniped the pilot. And then you saw the pilot immediately rage quit, but it's like, bruh. Can I point something else here? What gun was he using? What gun is that, chat? Chat? What gun is that? What gun is that, chat? It is an AKS 74 motherfucking you.
We are.
Of course, Blue 4 stands no chance. When the memes become reality. Oh my god. I got nothing.
But we need to go east.
Oh, man. I started that as a joke with FNF because it was the illusion of choice, because as crewman you can choose one of two weapons, but both were AKSs. I started making a joke that that was the best gun ever because you didn't need a choice. It was the Chuck Norris of guns. And then I just watched a man snipe a pilot and kill 11 people. Because it was the guy's name plus 10, which means there were 11 inside. And he did it with an AKS. Look at all those disconnects of all the people that died. Alright, so Blue 4 are flying in the other squad that was on the airfield in this vehicle. I really don't get why you would land infantry over here, to be perfectly honest. They're going to land right into this position. OFCRA don't really have a defense back here. They've got some guys on the support base. I'd imagine these guys are going to go for the spy to then bring them to the location, and they're going to be out for the rest of the game. Just playing defense, really. Just spilled my coffee all over my robe. Whoops. OFCRA, I mean, they're pretty well set up to deal with that group of infantry. This group is also a little concerning. Let's go ahead and look over here real quick. Okay, they're engaging each other from range. I think they were worried that OFCRA might be seeing their crossing point here, but unless these guys have a good way to deal with that BTR from range, it's gonna bite them in the ass. When you're dealing with a crossing situation like this, you really don't want to be in an engagement. It's easier to just not be seen, cross your guys a little further north and go around rather than get into a firefight because you're basically separated. And Blue 4, they're separated into 3 groups right here. Which, oh, okay, no, there's the 50 cal. So if they can line the 50 cal up on that BTR, then they're fine, but that's a bit of a long shot to work with. Yeah, you got the rest of these guys practically keeping cover here. I don't see any bazookas on them. But yeah, no, we need to practically see the 50 cal Vic get out and suppress that BTR, because otherwise these guys are going to be uselessly pinned. We could also potentially see this Blue 4 element come up and flank if these guys want to stay pinned. It looks like they finally got that 50 cal out. Yeah, he's stuck on the trench. I can't tell why they're dismounted. I think they realize it's a 50 cal. What? What's he doing? I think He somehow...
Un medic?
Not from the bridge, on the three enemies.
How did you...
on
Did you high bar it on the... What did you do?
They didn't cross the river with one of them.
I think they got it stuck on something, and then they have to dismount it and remount it to make it work. They're doing a little bit of medical. I think they're trying to spot where the 50 cal was coming in from. But yeah, no, PvP is fun to cover because you never know when crazy moments like that happen. Speaking of crazy moments, Bluck on point goes down by Oddball. He starts returning fire from a few different Blue 4 heads here. Blue 4 have a very blob-like formation. Up 4 about to open up on multiple sides. Looks like the gunner of this UAZ tried to come in, but gunner got hit there. We got a flanking force now coming in. Can the top side, though, now assist in fire here because Blue 4 is going to turn their attention over here, but if Op 4 can basically close the gap and deliver a good flanking shot, they'll be good. Great bounce on that grenade, but Cuboid manages to get enough distance not for it to really affect him, but then he immediately gets flanked by Twig King. A lot of Blue 4's elements have been knocked out, a lot of grenades being spammed out. And Blue 4, they had a number advantage going in, but because they were just in such a big globular formation, Op 4 was able to capitalize on a flanking play. But now we need to see the rest of Papa come in, because otherwise Alpha and Echo are regrouping. I think Alpha was more towards the rear. Echo took the brunt of that assault. They can now potentially pierce past Quebec, but I think Papa is trying to come in and assist as much as they can. Even if Op 4 hits this with heavy casualties, Camera, it looks like he found a bazooka. Actually, no, they started with bazookas. Never mind. Blue 4 started with smogs. Yeah, there's the bazooka trying to go out, but the round got caught in a tree, so that's going to stop this side, giving more time for Papa to come into flank, but will it be enough? Got Mike for Blue 4. That's Wombat, who I think is Blue 4 command. He was going to try to move in with the large force, but this large force is taking a lot of fire. Now you see an element of Blue 4 Alpha trying to flank around on Quebec. Quebec, though, did notice it and is trying to return fire. Papa coming up, but they're now blindly firing the smoke grenade one of the other guys pulled out. Solomon, though, moves up and takes out multiple with his PKM. One killed, one down. He's double tapping. Gets the kills. Cheeseburger also tried to flank around. He's taken out. Roland, though, spots Solomon and takes him out. Only a knockout, though. And Op 4 has reinforcements now coming in as well. If this fight can hold for a few minutes, Op 4 can potentially sweep out with the remainder of reinforcements. Looks like that UAZ was remounted. Now they're blind firing. But it's not really going to do a lot of good for the Quebec element here, who's taking the brunt of the remaining fight. Looking over here, looks like Op 4 is remounting their BTR. Blue 4 have decided to garrison that town instead of rushing in to assist. And these groups are still staying separated, but it looks like they're going to be leaving the Vix here and instead going for the boats. Weird choice. I would have rather kept the assets in their shoes, but hey. Oddball taking some marksman fire, I believe, by Kermit. Yep. TK Llama gets another kill with that AKS. And you got Op 4, they're bounding past this open field, covering for each other. It's going to send another 6. A lot of Papa. Yeah, there's only about 2 elements left of Papa there. We don't even see their name coming up anymore. So they're going to end up having to rejoin with Quebec. Numbers-wise, it's very even, but Op 4 is about to get a pretty nice amount of reinforcements. Fight's really turned around, but that was definitely a massive bulk of Blue 4's remaining infantry. Because after that, they just have a little support group in here. Actually, that's a reservist. Never mind. So only one guy up there, and then it's just 2 little chunks right here, a group of 10 and a group of 10 right there, and then the rest are in a helicopter flying around. So Op 4 will definitely have a bit of a manpower advantage after this, but they're still going to keep their elements spread. So we'll just have to see how they respond. Now, I'm wondering if these guys are going to come around and check this out. We're seeing some pickoffs out here. I'd assume that's the remaining Blue 4 infantry. Camred, I think he secured that shot. And yes, I kind of was making a joke about how tactical blobs in PvP aren't really the best thing in the world. PvE, it's fine. AI won't use tactics against you, but players are another story. So these guys are going to possibly cut north. I'm just worried about a red-on-red incident here, but I think they're going to be smarter than that. I think Cheeseburger and Roland have been down for a hot second. If they were to get back up, they should have gotten up by now. TK Llama still coming around the flank, watching for anyone else coming around here because they don't really understand where Blue Force position is. Now you really just have Echo Remnant over here, Papa Remnant, these two over here, and then Quebec's Remnant, and then TK Llama. So it's very short numbers all around. Kermit, though, he does have a marksman rifle and 4 kills to his name. He could very easily set himself up to get a few more, but the jungle is a really tough place. I jinxed it? Maybe, but oh shit, I did. Roland woke back up. Did just hear a shot out here. Camrad's reloading the bazooka. Can Roland channel his inner Audrey Hotto and defeat the OFCRA? Anyway. Coffee got a little cold. Trying to finish it. Don't mind me. I'm just here to cast a curse, people. He did go full Rambo. A little bit of heat in the moment there, yada-da. This group, that is a BTR of 9 people, name +8. So they're either going to come back and reinforce that one position, or they might go further down, get on the coast, and try to cut into the spies location. These guys have all folded up. They're going to come in. Blue 4 might be able to reinforce those guys, but it looks like Op4, a little bit of shooting at each other, but I think they're going to realize that they're friendly.
Enemy contact north! Enemy contact north!
So that is Twig's voice. He's calling out enemy contacts north. And it looks like these guys have successfully made contact. Major Khan opening up from the rocks over here. Now he's showing really good form with that M60. It was a little tough to catch right there, but he had himself perfectly bipoded. Yeah, return fire coming in. Ash in a really good flanking spot. He's going to take an AT-4 out. We just saw a bazooka round go out. Ash going for a noob tube, actually taking shrapnel from his own explosive. That's kind of funny. I don't think he got anyone with that, though. But Op4 now has a much more reinforced line. Blue 4 down to 5. Major Khan got knocked out. Ilbanek and Twig King going offensive here. Sorry for flashing, y'all. I don't think it's a pincer maneuver per se. I think they're just kind of pushing up on their own. The previous thing Op4 was doing was certainly a pincer maneuver, but Papa failed to really advance because they were confused, and Blue 4 kind of just bumbled into Quebec. Now, this is funny. We have a helicopter with the rear cannon firing at infantry out here, and they actually successfully dismounted the SPG-9. Hope someone picked up that Igla, because that Igla would easily be able to smack that Sea Stallion. Super Bazooka in play. Yeah, Blue 4 is definitely broken apart. Wombat on the outskirts might be trying to shepherd his people. They could then come around like this and regroup with their regroup with their force right here. These guys came out and then now they're pulling back. I'd imagine they're probably going to go along the coast because they got friendly control. We still got these guys all around here heavily engaged. Dilbanex opted to steal an enemy M60. Not a bad choice. Shut up, Razor. Yeah, so helicopters flying around north, probably to move to now reinforce these guys or provide scouting information for them. Blue 4 definitely has an uphill battle at this point. Op 4 just looking at the infantry they still possess, with the exception of Papa being mostly wiped except for one element. Blue 4, we still got this solid group right here, that solid group, but, you know, most of the other elements have been hit pretty hard. But just because Op 4 has a number advantage, if they stay spread out like this, we could still see Blue 4 go in, nab the spy, bring him back. But the naval base is where the remaining points are, so even if Blue 4 grab the spy and pull him, Op 4 I think is literally just going to play the support base, and then once that's done and the artillery pieces are safe, they'll pull back and hold the naval base, and that should give them 4 points out of the potential 10. Because there's the remaining points in the spy. And then the survival bonus of if you... Right, and then the last point's the commander. Sorry, I was doing the math in my head for how to score 10 points in this match. But, you know, if you score the support base and the naval base, you get 4 out of the 10 points. And then just rely on getting the survival bonus. You should be fine. Because you got to remember, you're also preventing your opponent from getting... 4 out of the 6 core points of the actual objective itself. The rest is just stuff you have to deal with in the middle of the mission. So now you got squads regrouping with each other.
Alright, on me guys, back where we came.
Looks like these guys are potentially going to pull back. Yep, Blue 4 have pulled back, so I'd imagine Op 4 is going to grab their Vix, pull in, and play defensive. Blue 4 is going to remaneuver. And now we're going to have another bit of a slow maneuver here. We're still, funny enough, in early game. It's going to transition to mid-game in 2 minutes, but I always like to divide my OFCRA rounds into 3 30-minute blocks. You have your first 30 minutes, which is your early game, your central 30 minutes, which is your mid-game, and your last 30 minutes, which are your late game. Games are almost always 99% of the time determined by the end of mid-game. I'd say 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 are determined in early game, and if not, there's at least a distinct advantage that comes out, and we've definitely seen one. You just got to remember that it's 8 minutes of safe start plus the 30, so at the 38-minute mark, we transition into mid-game. But, yeah, I mean, it didn't really help that a guy with an AKS sniped a pilot and killed 10 Blue 4 infantry. Had he not, and Blue 4 were still able to get a few people out, and then engaged with Papa and Quebec, even though they probably still would have been wiped, the Blue 4 element, they probably would have been able to get a few casualties at the least. And then that could have helped stem the tide on this fight. Blue 4 would have still had to pull back because of that additional Op 4 reinforcement coming in, or they could have bulldozed through it because of the amount of casualties Papa and Quebec took. Op 4 sending reinforcements, they would have gotten bulldozed as well, and then Blue 4 would be in a very strong position to take the rest of these areas. But it isn't the end of the world when one side manages to wipe a squad for free, but it's usually, more often than not, a tell of who's going to win. Not always. We still had some upsets, but yeah. Still, I could see Blue 4 sending a force in, nabbing the spy, pulling them back with a small force after they realize there's no one here. Maybe they send another team down, see there's nothing there, grab a Vic and move in. And then just annihilate the support base, because I'm going to be honest, it doesn't really take that much infantry to storm it from the forested area, especially considering how Op 4 has actually set up their defenses on it and how spread out. They're kind of defending the town instead of the support base itself. So if Blue 4 actually positions their force on the northern side and pushes right in, there's actually not a lot stopping them. If a concentrated force came in and started blowing up the arty tanks, they could still get the points for that. It's just how do they then transition to the naval base is the really tough one. But if they do the support base and the spy, that gives them 4 of the points, and they could still win. So, tough call. I really don't get what this group is doing, though. Like, in my opinion, I think they're actually going to try to come around here and then go around, which granted could work out for them. I mean, there's still 2 OPFOR groups that have separated. They could bulldoze through those, but in jungle warfare, it's almost impossible. The only way you're going to bulldoze is through an ambush. Otherwise, the remnant forces are just going to move around the jungle and then flank on random sides, so there's no way for blue. I know, Charlotte, I know. Are you doing what I think you're doing? Yeah, that doesn't float, Lewis. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but they're not amphibious, buddy. But no, these guys are going to take their Vix and drive off. These guys might go on foot, but all they're going to do is just reinforce the support base and make it harder for Blue 4 to actually push in. But I don't get what these guys are doing in relation to these guys. I don't know why they're not coming down and reinforcing to then break off and, again, play the objectives. But they must think that OPFOR has both the support base, the spy, and the naval base all taken at this point. Probably not the naval base, actually, but I don't know. This is weird. Here's the thing, though. If Blue 4 doesn't move the spy out of the red zone, OPFOR gets those points for free because the spy is quote-unquote in the red zone. So we're still 43 minutes away from those points being scored, but who the hell knows? Am I looking forward to the weekend? Not really. Well, actually, yes and no. Sunday I'm looking forward to. I have a fun date with Bloodwind. Saturday I'm not really looking forward to, because yes, we're doing the gate op, but I'm doing the gate op, Revy's op, and then Karma Cuts op. So 3 back-to-back Zeus jobs. I'm going to be honest, if it wasn't, I usually have a strict 2 mission a day limit. If it wasn't the fact that the third one was Karma Cuts, and that one, I'm going to be honest, it's easier for me to do because it's really just me talking and watching them, because they fight with very specific rules in mind. Once in a blue moon, I will do 4 missions in a day, and it is taxing. I have to be hyped up for that. Yeah, I'm not going to be super dead tired because they're spaced out enough, but the gate op is going to be very high intensity. The Revy op I have planned is also going to be very high intensity. And then Karma Cuts is going to be very, at most, moderate intensity for what I have in mind. They gave me a few different things to work with, and I'll build that mission tonight, but you know, just, oh. God, I remember way back when I had to do my own communities op, and then an MCO, and then an SOG Prairie Fire community event, and then there was an evening op, and I don't remember if that was a Karma Cut op or something else, but I had 4 ops back-to-back, and I was struggling through whatever that 4th op was. I can't remember if it was a commission job or a Karma Cut op, but I was just like, ugh. You know? What time's the gate op? It is on the schedule. If you type !schedule, but that is at 1 p.m. I just heard an AT launch. They actually fired that. And again, these guys had access to the down guy with the Igla, but you know, they fired a bazooka at it. That's funny. Rest of OPFOR remounted in that BTR. They're going to probably push south. Those guys are going to push south as well. Blue 4, doubt they'll act on it. Why are... No, that's Wombat telling his guys they're going to reform up here and then potentially push around right here and then attack the support base from the right side and maneuver in. That way he can also send men over to the naval base through an amphibious crossing if it's clear. So they're playing for these 2 objectives. Maybe by the end, the helicopter will land somewhere around here, check out to see if the spy's empty, and at least pull them out of the red zone so OPFOR can't score those points. So with that plan in mind, considering where OPFOR's numbers are, that could potentially work. So Blue 4's not out of the game just yet, but it's definitely a bit of a weird play that they're being forced to do with here. You're right, at least I can have a 30-minute nap at the start, but I'm not one of those big-breasted female Twitch streamers that... Oh, there's the Igla. He did not evade, he got hit. Mike died, and the co-pilot had to take over. Damn. What is up with OFCRA sniping pilots tonight, though? That's how they got rid of the Venom gunship, and they just sniped the pilot out of the Sea Stallion, the CH-53. Thankfully, the co-pilot took over, but ooh, damn. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I'm not that, There's the second Igla getting launched. I can't tell if it actually managed to score the hit, though. Tail rotor's out, though, so I think... Oh! Flared off. So these little lines are the countermeasures being deployed, but ooh. Mr. White smokes some heavy fumes to make bad missions week after week. Ooh. All right, so OFCRA Quebec here got the jump on some of the infantry over here. Looks like the Dishka guns got disabled, or what? Both groups are going to be on their own, though. Actually, Blue 4 might be able to come in and reinforce. They might be able to sandwich these elements, but Blue 4 taking multiple down. AT going in. That is an SPG-9 firing with HE. No, or it was the bazooka, because I don't see anyone mounted. So that was Camred with, it's an RPG symbol, but that was that, so. Heavy fire, but I'll have a conversation with you guys that died later. I just heard another AA launch. I just saw another RPG shot, but it was way over. Excuse me. Oh my god, these guys are getting cut down. Half are wounded, and the other half, I assume, are partially damaged here. Completely ineffective at this point. These guys just pretty much wiped that element. And Mr. AKS is down. So you got Blue 4 running some elements from the north potentially come in. We could still see a lot of wake-ups here, though. But I don't think this was a bad mission. I just think Blue 4 definitely got dealt a little bit of a bad hand. But there were some things that they did that were kind of silly. Oh my god. Literally. Have mercy on these poor infantry. I love seeing AT used as shock weapons, but damn. These guys are knocked out over here because of it. These people died because of it. These people got knocked out because of it. More. Give me more. Oh my god. Cameron has to be out of ammo at this point. Diablo rolls into cover. Blue 4 closing in. They're definitely going to try to come in and attack on the northern side to outflank this OFCRA element, but the damage they've done to this group, can you imagine if this BTR... They're coming. They're going to get in here and potentially flank before Blue 4 and get flanked on the north. That's going to encircle and eliminate this position and potentially allow OFCRA to turn around and deal with this northern group. And they're charging right in. Evian got dismounted. Ilbanek now on point. With that M60 getting knockout after knockout here. No. Oh, Ilbanek, that is cruel. I love it. OFCRA dismounting. They're going to be taking out even more Blue 4 infantry. And Blue 4 is literally all in up here. Blue 4 deploying a commando. It's Samuel. The engine went down. Oh my god. I don't think he made it. Yeah, he didn't make it. He forgot to bail out, and I think, yeah, the engine went out. So Blue 4 is literally all in up here, and then they got Indiana over there, but jeez. Op 4 now bringing their reinforcements in. Toxic in a position to potentially flank. But Blue 4 just getting massacred here. Blue 4 also did not fold down to Op 4. They're trying to take the high ground instead in Overwatch. Yep, Overwatch fallacy. Love it. Ilbanek now coming in. Getting double tap after double tap with that M60. Doesn't see Oliver. Does Oliver take the shot? Yes, he does. First shot's a headshot, and that knocks Ilbanek out. AT just got fired by Toxic. I think that was hitting the BTR. No, it hit the trees in front. He's now engaging Victor. Victor doesn't realize he's being engaged from the rear and gets knocked out on the head. Duetson, funny enough, shooting at Victor's position. But yeah, Blue 4 stopping short is now allowing the pincer maneuver here to clean up this infantry. And now they're at a number odds to deal with this group if they open fire. Which just leaves this squad up here, so this is, I'm going to be honest, starting to boil more and more into an Op 4 victory. Blue 4 had a chance, but Op 4 came in and finished it off as I watch an Op 4 vehicle get shot with AT, and that gunner is no longer alive. Yvonne getting into a nice position to flank and kill Toxic. He got dismounted from the Vic, and he's running over the single Blue 4 infantry running around over there, and then we have a Rambo element back there as well. Whew. Op 4 are down quite a bit, but considering some of these guys, oh, that's amazing. Do it, son. You're a medic, and you somehow have -1 kill. I salute you, sir. Do no harm, right? To the enemy team, that is. So they somehow, even though he was part of their group that came in, have lost radio contact with Avoon, and, yeah. Anyway, not gonna mention that one, Chief. Blue 4 now folding some elements around. And otherwise, they might have been shooting at Oliver as he's pulling back, but just look at these kill counts. 5, 6. Cameron only on 1, Mackenzie on 2, TK Llama on 2, but he's the guy that sniped, you know, the chopper that killed 10 people. So right now, in my book, TK actually has, he would have a 1 in front of that too, so he's up to 12. Because no one came out of that chopper, they all died. So these guys have taken a truck. I can only assume they're going to go and drive, take the spy, and then pull them back to that position, in which case the infantry here, I think they're going to be able to sweep the remaining forces, but when you're dealing with units in the jungle, they can just break around and come back and hit you. Blue 4, though, because of their sparse number, are so broken apart that that's not going to affect them as much unless they clump together, but look at all the Op 4 infantry down here. It's, I don't want to call it yet, but it's kind of over. It's kind of over. At least Blue 4, if they regrouped and pushed through here, they would have actually had a considerable chance to get the 2 things here, and then actually swim people over and take the naval base. Had a good last stand, and that could have gone either way, but nah, it's over. Now, granted, Op 4 took heavy casualties to wipe that remaining group here, but this is other than this threat, but I don't really know what these chuckleheads are doing. I think they're dismounting to now go in, take the spy, and then pull them over to that blue area. But again, those 2 points, that's something that Op 4 has already accommodated, or accounted for, excuse me. Llama's now moving up.
Ok, là on a de l'allié déjà.
So the 4 of these guys are regrouping. Avoon's still bleeding out. They have 2 medics though, so they could actually get Victor and Avoon up if they actually go out and look for them. But Blue 4 are starting to converge. Looks like they've actually stolen an Op 4 vehicle here, the SPG-9. I can't tell if Victor just woke up and got sniped because that round went right towards him. Someone's bleeding over here. Might be Lachlan. But that is it. That is honestly it. I think Blue 4, here's the choice when you're Blue 4 in this situation. They could have stuck to the MSRs and fielded their 50 cal cars and their GMG Humvees. And I'm going to be honest, a GMG Humvee is perfect for suppressing the shit out of a jungle. And it has the range to fire across rivers as well. I think Blue 4 stuck to playing this a little too aggressively. I can't tell if Locke just blue on blued someone or not. But we are missing an OP4 element now, but I think Blue 4 just relied too much on putting elements through jungles, and that's what cost them. AT goes in. TK Llama, I think, is looking for Wombat. Wombat, I think, is commander, though. So if he gets killed, then that's a point for OP4. Does TK Llama look left? He does! But so does Wombat. And that is the okay. Technically, that is the first point scored on the board for OP4, because that is the Blue 4 commander killed. So, officially with 1 point on the board, OP4's commander is Joseph Porta, and he's back at the where he needs to be, so that's just a little bit of icing on the cake there, but that's it. What happens to the GMG Humvee? They left them. And that's what perplexes the hell out of me. Like, they decided not to rush in with them and instead dismount them and then cross the river. And that team, I believe, is now actually the team here that got mostly wiped. I don't really get why across both PvE and PvP communities, sometimes they'll just dismount the Vix and go on foot when the op is balanced around having those vehicle assets with you. I get it that it kind of bottlenecks you on certain bridges, but if you're not safe doing that, and just drive all the way around, there's other bridges you can cross. You know, like, and it's OFCRA, so you're meant to use the entire 90 minutes. You could have literally come across on the rear and pushed into this zone. Actually, I might have to take that back, because the only bridge I see is right there. And there isn't really another bridge they could have utilized to get to this territory except over there. So that quite possibly would have had to have been what they did, is regroup over here and take the bridges to deploy a helicopter element down here to push forces in, because the only other option is to rush this area, but Blue 4 could have. There was a BTR coming around, but it wouldn't have been able to get to the bridges in time. Blue 4 could have immediately rushed and then pulled left into the open area. Or they could have pulled along the coast and then driven up. So, but again, it goes against OFCRA's, not their policy, but just, I guess, their tradition per se. They really don't like doing rush plays.
Copy.
Yeah, I was wondering which one of these guys just died, because one of them randomly shot, and Duitson has a -1, so it was you, Ilvanek. That's what sucks too, because you had a kill streak going. Yeah. Twig King did too, but nothing's gonna beat TK Llama. He's on 13 kills now. Again, clarifying, he killed the pilot of a chopper that had 11 people in it, so he gets +10 in my book here, because no one came out of that chopper. I don't know if they could have air-towed the Humvees, but theoretically a Sea Stallion should be able to tow a Humvee. What's going to be interesting, though, is now these three guys are going to come around and potentially get more kills here. Oh, God. I'm like Mario jumping's the best idea. Ah, I see. He Mario jumped to get a bird's eye view, and he somehow spotted OP4 through the trees and knew there was something wrong. Duitson gets knocked out. It's going to really be up to TK Llama to come around and flank. Now, all three of these guys are medics, though, so if anyone gets knocked out, they could bring people back up, but they are now pretty much fighting superior forces here. We got Zixmi, NASA, Kermit, Ash, and Ivno pushing forward. I mean, these are all really good players, so it's going to be tough for this to beat. TK Llama, I think, is the only person I've really seen able to do that, but Do It Son gets double tapped.
You killed one. Whoever did that, you killed one.
AT fired in. How did... Okay, no, all right, so he saw this body jump up. I was about to say, how did Ivno see that? But no, he has an angle on him. But Private Meat Shield, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Hope you enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Ivno cleans up the other guy. More AT being fired in. TK Llama is now alone with his 13 kill streak. We'll have to see what they do. Yeah, Blue 4 now going to be able to take the spy out of the red zone. They still have plenty of time to move them to the capture zone, so they'll get the 2 points there. But Op 4, at this rate, there is 22 minutes for them to hold the support base, and they're just going to pull back and take the naval base. But Samuel here, Mr. Rambo that jumped out of the helicopter, he could channel inner inner Adriado and hold this base by himself, which means he would have to prevent 2 red players from entering the purple zone and being calculated at the end of the mission. So, I mean, let's see if Samuel can live up to TK Llama here, who I think is watching Ivno. He did not see him. Oh, that is a tough angle, though. Oh, these games are always fun to watch, but, you know. Playing, unless you're put in a really good position like the cardboard, aka Twig Cane there, yeah, that's a different story.
Do you want me to take the use, you know?
I don't cast or curse anyone. I'm just a commentator here.
Oh.
Cardboard, you know TK Llama killed the pilot, right? His kill count's technically 13. Your performance was fine. The only thing I didn't agree with was the shooting from your UAZ before you pulled it out into the open to get a better angle, because you potentially spooked that chopper. Thankfully, that pilot didn't decide landing next to an enemy squad wasn't a good idea, and then TK Llama pulled a god of a shot and killed the pilot.
Can you cover me?
No, Llama sniped him, and then the chopper swooped down and fell. So Llama should have 13 kills right now because everyone died in that chopper, and there was 10 people plus the pilot in it, so it's 11 kills. It only credited him for the pilot kill, though, so that's why I put a 1 in front of that little kill count there. Settler, I didn't see too much of you, so I can't rate you, broski. All I've really seen is all the skirmishing up in the north. Op 4 made a mistake by putting a BTR in a really obvious spot to be spotted by boats coming in, so that's a detriment to them, but, I mean, this has just been ambush after ambush here, so... Forge, I give you a solid 13 out of 37. You were in the heli? Yeah. TK Llama playing chicken. Ivno spots him.
Direction 40.
Charlotte, I rate you 4 out of 20, which is
me.
pretty nice.
Yeah, behind some trees in front of me.
Here's the thing, though. Again, these guys have really good communication with each other. It's just Kermit somehow got eaten by a tree. But these two are flankers. They will try to outmaneuver each other, and that's exactly what TK Llama... Oh, but he catches him out of position! And TK Llama's kill count swells to 14. And now he's got Blue 4 potentially coming in 1 at a time. If he spots this, he could grow that kill count even more. Does he spot Kermit? He does not. Pulls away. Kermit doesn't spot him either. Both players now maneuvering. TK Llama knows he needs to position away, otherwise he could... No! He spots Kermit! Kermit getting caught in a tree, tries to throw a grenade instead in a panic. Oh no! You lucky son of a bitch. Trying to fire GLs up there. That's going to make Kermit pull back. I thought the grenade was going to get TK Llama. I am actually impressed it did not. I said 420. It's a... Charlotte, if you don't get 420, I can't help you there. I'm sorry. Llama now taking flanking fire from that Overwatch element coming in. Not really meant to kill him, more to just kind of distract him. Zixmi going for a kill shot there with a marksman rifle. Now TK Llama knows that that entire ridge is taken. Llama, you're playing a very dangerous game. Those guys do have the high ground. The issue is this is opening up for Kermit to come around to flank and deliver the killing close blow. Nah, Ivno, you ended up running right into him while he was looking in your direction. And Ivno knows Kermit's coming around to flank because that group has him pinned, so he's now trying to pick him off, and then he can smoke and get away. Trying to keep that tree close to him. He knows he's pinned. He's trying to run around to see if he can draw out fire. He's trying to feel up an angle where he can actually be engaged from. Yeah, just blaze it. Ivno knows he's in a bad spot. I'm not sure if he has any smoke grenades to actually deal with it, though. Kermit trying to find an angle. Llama in a very bad spot here. Starts taking suppressive fire. Can he get out of here? Oh my god. SPG-9 car being driven up. They're going to suppress them with SPG-9 73mm rounds. Oh my god. Llama actually got out of the kill zone here. Well played. Looking at the rest of the mission here, it looks like OFCRA still playing defensive. Blue 4 still trying to find the spy to pull him out. Alright, they have the spy. They're now going to walk him over to the other zone, and that's going to be it for them. Samuel still holding the naval base. Blue 4 still has a small chance. Will they win? Probably not, but hey, we can dream. And I think TK Llama is going to either try to completely disengage or he's going to go for a massive flank around, and that would actually be pretty awesome if he did. That is actually kind of funny, Darkstar. You know what, Darkstar? I'm going to give you a lot of power in a second. Way too much power than you should ever have in regards to Karma Cut's community, but you know what? I'm bored. So here's the deal, Darkstar. Karma wrote me a list of missions to make, and he didn't give any specifics. So here's the deal. You're going to mix and match here. Here's some combos. You're going to decide, because I don't make decisions past Tuesday. I have a deal with them. They give me an idea to make by Sunday, or generals, and then I make it by Tuesday. But once again, we're behind, so I'm going to give you the power, and you will get the power again if it gets Karma Cut killed. Anyway, he's probably not here to listen. So, small combos. Actually, I'll give you the list and then the combos he wrote down as well. Airfield seizure, platoon attack, area clearance, patrol to contact, point raid, MWO, no idea what a freaking MW is, ambush, or CSAR, Caesar. I think I know what that is, but I'll Google it later. Some combos. Small, unmanned, even MWO into a point raid. Intel leads to another point raid or even an ambush. Point raid leads to another point raid, leads to platoon attack. Small, unmanned airfield seizure into small, unmanned MWO into point raid or even ambush. Patrol to contact leads to a fight, leads to intel to a point raid. So Darkstar, mind wire obstacle. Gotcha. Okay. Darkstar, buddy, oh pal, give me something. Out of all of that list, what do you think we should do tonight? Combat search and rescue. Yeah. Which just gives me an excuse to shoot down one of their air assets. Won't that be fun? Anyway, looking at the map here, TK Llama's pulled back. Blue 4 now trying to hunt for him, but again, TK Llama's one of those evasive motherfuckers. Alright, Darkstar. Basically, Karma's right now, his mini obsession is doing small-scale events. And Karma banned me from using AN2s in the future, which I said he would, but, you know, we still did it, and it was pretty funny to watch me try to dogfight helicopters with no night vision and just literally use the stars to navigate. It was funny as hell. But, Darkstar, give me an op. I will make it tonight. Or tomorrow morning, but probably tonight. Alright? You decide what I make because I don't feel like thinking. I know it was funny as hell from the ground. That was the point. Because you guys got to remember, I am also a memer. Alright? I will make silly little things that happen in the op because I at least want you guys to be entertained a little bit. Just reminded this is a video game, and if you survive to the end, you can witness some funny things. And I want Air to have something to do too. And I'm going to be honest. I feel like in this modern day and age, there would be some crazy chads in an extremist side that would send biplanes armed with 50 cal bipods to engage helicopters because some people are just that crazy. It's not even about the content, alright? That's realistic. Just, I mean, look at some of the stuff. Actually, no, I'll give you guys a story. I know a guy, I'm not going to name drop him, but if you look at some of my earlier content and pay attention who the UAV operator is in most of those ops, you can figure out who it was. But I had a guy that used to sign up for almost every UAV position I would do in my operations, and now he's literally in Ukraine doing drone sorties. I used to be very private about it, but he finds it funny after I had a conversation with him like a year ago, and now I brag about it. But he literally just did it on his computer, and then I don't know how he was able to let them give him a try because he didn't have any military experience as far as I knew, but he knew how to fly drones, and they needed people to fly drones. So now he'll occasionally, like once every 2 or 3 weeks, he'll just send me a few videos from the drone of him doing some pretty atrocious stuff, admittedly, but yeah. And then there's quite a few people there that know who I am. On both sides, mind you. People know me from the frickin' Russian PvP scene on the Russian side, and the Ukraine side know me for a bunch of other shit, too. So it's like, I don't know anymore, man. It's weird. It's weird how the modern day works, alright? Because there's so many sides of irregular warfare cooked into modern warfare because the only chance people really have these days is to have a guerrilla war. But I'm ranting here at that point. Trying to fill the gap because Blue 4 doesn't really have a chance. What's your experience in this job? Orma 3. I've got it Caesar into ambush into point raid to capture an HVT goat and the goat's BF. Hey Charlotte, I need you to play a role for me. Can you be the goat's boyfriend?
My god.
Rescue the Prime Minister's favorite goat for foreign relations. Oh my god. Right?
Bro, what
Alright, I'm expecting either Charlotte to yell at me. You'd prefer girlfriend? No, but you can be the goat friend. Oh my god. I know, I'm hilarious. Alright, let me actually put that to memory. Caesar into ambush into point raid. Isn't the Caesar technically rescuing a downed pilot crew, or am I missing something on Caesar?
No, you know. ¿Está vivo? No, ¿qué te hicieron, himno? F por ti.
I guess that's Hypno's body. Rescuing lost something. But how does that lead to an ambush? Or are you defending against the ambush? Because here's the deal. Here's the deal, all right? You have to understand my perspective here. I can feign stupidity on any topic once with Karma, okay? All right? Like the AN2s. So when he writes ambush, I'm going to be honest. I know he means his guy's ambushing someone. But since the word is ambush, I could, what's it called? Interpret that as me ambushing him. Yeah. Because I know for a fact, Darkstar, he means to ambush the enemy. But I could say, oh, I read it as ambush. Okay. I can ambush you. Oh. But we all know he's not going to read this conversation unless any of you snitch on me. But at the same time, I've worked with him for a while. I think he knows that I'm not out to get his people, and he's seen me. Like, I remember the first stop I did for him where I watched a single GL just massacre a squad of his, and I felt super bad about it. And he said it was fair, and he said that's fine to do in the future, just, you know, 1 or 2 in the ops, but I strictly try to remove GLs because I don't want people to get outright massacred. If they do, it's because I'm behind the trigger and I'm trying to prove a point about something, or, you know, I'm doing stuff that's fair. But again, I want to focus on the players first. So if I do ambush them, it's going to be something winnable. Because if I really wanted to pull an ambush off, I could wipe anyone. Let's be honest. With what I know these days, I can easily wipe any freaking community with a well-placed ambush. But I digress. I would need some camo netting, some IR netting, but specifically the stuff that would defeat the frickin' camo, not camo, the IR mod they use. Which I have a list, because after figuring out they had that mod, I'm a vindictive little shit, but yeah, no, okay, so Caesar to ambush, and then they kill a commander in there, and then he has intel that leads them to point raid another position, which was their staging point, and they immediately act upon it. Or, even better, to prevent air from outright bombing the staging point, one of the crewmen is, no, we just have pure AI, and some of the intel leads them to the crew because the Blue 4, his faction was too slow to get there, so the people that survived got captured. So we can have 2 dead that they have to body bag, 2 that aren't dead that they have to rescue, or it would... Their army, so it would have to be either a Blackhawk or a Chinook crew. A Chinook would be 5. For pilot, co-pilot, the 2 minigunners, and like a crew chief. But the crew chief could be one of the gunners. But I do have wrecked UH-60 crew, so we could do a UH-60. That would be easier. They get ambushed on the site. And then they find intel on the commander. I've got to like put a chem light next to him when he dies to put the intel actually down.
Less than 3.
And then they gotta point raid the objective to rescue the guys and then pull them out. That sounds fun. But here's my point, Darkstar. I don't care... Actually, no, before I get to that. Solarsis, thanks for the 4-month resub, broski. I hope you keep enjoying the content. I hope you enjoyed today's main channel upload. Tomorrow I'm gonna put a poll out, and... I've got a new way of uploading, but I want to factor you guys in. It's just, you know, I'll put a poll out there, and whatever wins the poll, I'll upload next time, because YouTube only wants me to upload close to once a week now, but I digress. Thank you for all your support. Hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of the scenario. But Darkstar, I just need a vague idea. I don't need a list of ideas. I just need one specific freaking idea when it comes to any roleplay concepts. For my job, for Zeusing, if you just give me one idea, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, let my stupid little autistic mind go to work. I will think of some way to spin it and make it work. I suck when it comes to being given multiple ideas, because I will literally just think of so many different ways to push them, and then I can't choose. Okay? So you just give me one idea out of the masses, I will give you your idea. Boom, bam, done and out. But if you let me stir in my own frickin' head, I can't get anything done. I don't know what form of autism that is, but I have it. You know? Which is honestly why it's really, really nice that I have a community for ops, for example. I let them vote on what they want to play, so I don't have to make that decision unless it's something really, really cool and niche, like the gate op coming up. For the YouTube videos I'm going to start uploading, I'm going to let the community vote for what they want to watch, and then I'm going to schedule the entire month based off of what wins what in the poll. So first choice will be next week, second choice will be the second week, third choice third week, fourth choice fourth week. You get it. But, you know, I take my weakness and I turn it into a strength, And that's business at that point. Hold on. Darkstar sent something that got auto-modded because it says I'll hit you, because he means I'll hit you up on Discord. Ah, the auto-mod, man. That's funny. Charlotte, I can't. I'm actually not allowed to. Unless I'm specifically advertising for his operations. Which I'm not sure when I'll be doing PvP stuff again. I'm trying to iron out his mod set first. But yeah, say let me. I am excited again for the Dragons this Saturday. They're gonna be funny. No, I was joking about that, Darkstar. And Char, I was joking about. I was joking about that. There is one thing I'm still looking for in Arma 3, though. I think out of everything on my my wish list, I would say, there's one thing remaining that I want to know how to do. And, Hog, Horrible Hog, you still here? I know your brother knows how to do it. At least I think he does. I could have sworn he might know. But how do people put the goat heads on the standard human bodies? Nillers teases that to me. Leclerc teases that to me. I want to know how you do that, because I have so many ops I want to do that are tied to putting furry heads on people. Alright? If anyone figures that out, let me know. I'll make it worth your while. I know, Darkstar, and I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of the one throttling it because I'm trying to figure out Karma Cut's mod set to optimize it. But after the next, whatchamacallit, Killcog. When Killcog happens again, which is actually like in the 1st or 2nd week of December, then I will start scheduling PvP back in my ops because I want a new benchmark, and that's going to serve as the benchmark. Now, I'm assuming Blue Force brought the spy into this zone. Yep, so they're going to score those points. And now I assume they're rallying to get to the... They're going to have to go for the naval base, but what's going to be interesting is the 15 minutes of Op 4 loading up in here and then Samuel trying to hold off the onslaught. And then how these vehicles are going to come in, but we're about to have contact. No! Guys, it's too early! No freaking way. I think we're about to see the dumbest clutch I've seen in a hot second. What are you dismounting for? You don't have the time! Nope, never mind. Okay. You have literally 1 minute. You could have blitzed it. If you don't blitz it, you don't... Okay. Oh yeah, and then you can put bunny heads on it too, but I want to know how they do it. Charlotte, shut up. No E621 here, good God. Yeah, alright, well I thought Blue 4 was actually going to blitz in, and they were going to catch Op 4 as they were mounting up. Samuel's going to have a really interesting time in half a second. Hog, I have to know the secrets. And here's the thing, if 2 Op 4 are in this zone, even if Samuel's still alive by the end of the game, Op 4 still takes control of the zone. Blue 4 literally should have just blitzed in, dismounted, and went for it, because at this point they don't have the numbers for this. And look at what these chuckleheads are doing. They tried driving. Yeah, yeah. Blue 4 is not even going to get to the naval base in time, in all honesty. Blue 4 blue balling the objective. Here's TK Llama stealth driving up. 14 kills total with that man, but it's over. Op4's end score is going to be, let's see, 8 points. Blue 4's is going to be 2. Blue 4 get the 2 points for the spy objective. Op4 get 2 points for the 2 artillery tanks. 1 point for killing the commander. 3 points for at least having 8 people. And 2 points for taking the naval base. Actually, I think because of... How many people are right here? 3, 6, 7... And then you got 1 right there. Yeah, no, so Blue 4 is actually going to get 4 points because they're going to get... actually, 5 points, excuse me. It's going to be 5 to 8. Blue 4, 2 points for the spy, 3 points for at least having 8 people alive. Op 4, 8 points for everything I just mentioned. But very wild op in the early game. Well, these guys are basically, they drove down from the spy position. What they should have done was just driven to the edge of the town and gone for it. But now you got the SPG-9 getting some snipes in, so that's disabled. Nope, it freaked the BTR out, though. Might cook off. You might see a second shot in a second if that BTR pulls out more, but... Here's the thing. If Op 4 doesn't take that final position, though, that would give Blue 4 7 points and Op 4 6. But what are the odds? There is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 minutes remaining for Op 4 to at least send people over. So, I mean, Op 4 could still fumble the ball here. So we'll just have to see. And I love how the determining factor is if Op 4 gets infantry on call. But yeah, okay, you see them moving in on foot. Unless Samuel finds a really good spot to stop Op 4 from getting into this position immediately, there's no winning. More AT coming in. SPG-9's acting as basically an indirect weapon at this point. Woo! What a trade. How many rounds? OFCRA does a main round and a bonus round, but I normally don't cover the bonus round because usually I'm a little brain dead by then because most of the action happened in the first 30 minutes of the game. Is TK Llama alright? Okay, he made it into town. I think this is going to be it for him personally. Op 4 trying to get some shots on the BTR, but they're overshooting a little bit. No, he doesn't even have eyes on. Yeah, they're firing through this little nook right here. All right, Samuel. You're literally hiding in a building, which is going to allow Op 4 to get people on site. We already have 1. There is 8 minutes left on the clock. This Blue 4 element's coming in. Can these guys get in there? Maybe by the end of the 8 minutes they can get in there, but stamina is going to start hampering them, so... Yeah. BTR pulls up and actually manages to go into the kill zone and get sniped, but that was really the only thing these guys could do. Gotta give it to Kermit, 8 kills. I mean, I think that's the highest for Blue 4. And this BTR is shooting up here. I don't know at what. Oh. Oh, this is grand. This is actually grand. There are no windows. He has the door shut. He can't be grenaded. Unless someone bites the bullet, opens the doors. You do have these little windows right here, though, they can throw grenades over, but... The question is anyone going to actually come in and open those doors? Because here's the funny thing. Op 4 could, like, come in here and not even open that set of doors and be fine. Ah, these guys came over to the purple mark. They're going to get in that Ural and drive in because I think they realize that they can. We do have an SPG-9 car waiting right here, though, so that Ural's going to end up driving right on top of the car. Good Overwatch spot for it. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to actually open that door. Oh, that's funny. There were boats down here with with 50 cal. Well, technically 12.7, but same thing. Wait. Wait. No, he's too far. Come on. Ah. 8 minutes. Yeah, you've got contact over here, but that honestly doesn't matter anymore. You got Blue 4 now firing at Wait. Tom, no! Yes! Yes! Let's see if Hot 4 does the smart thing and throws a grenade in there. He's at an angle where he can't get shot from the window. Where's the grenade? Where's the grenade? Templar's lucky to be alive. He's calling the Dishka out in there. Oh. Samuel, no. Damn. Yeah, bring up the SPG-9 car and put a frickin' AT round in there. They're gonna come around the rear now and see if they can break through the window and climb in. Yeah, where's the AT, the super bazooka? Oh no, Samuel. Samuel's grenade proof. He got shot in the dick. Do you think these are gonna stop Samuel? This is the third one. Okay, I might have just caster cursed him, and I'm really, really sorry about that. Anyway. Third time's the charm, right? More AT fire coming in. Blue 4 going for a final blitz here. BTR gets taken out. They're breaching in. More shots from the SMA coming in. Oh my god, it's Pierce. Wow. Also, to whoever met Pierce at a bar and said they knew who Pierce was through my Arma 3 streaming, don't do Pierce dirty like that. That's what Pierce told me anyway. Mr. White gets eliminated by U.S. Marines, and Sam is about to find Buncha. Oh, a bunch of these bullets in the back of your mouth anyway. Oh shit, and then Sam gets shot. A lot. Anyway. 5 minutes left on the clock. Funny enough, Blue 4 has actually done a really good job of clearing out the remnant over here. You got Joseph staying out of the objective because if he dies, that's another point for Blue 4. Blue 4 only have 3 people though, and that's not going to be enough to take the rest of this zone. know, I'd be curious if Squad actually had a PvP community and they had a spectator mode like this. Pierce gets his second kill of the evening. AT gets fired into this tree. That was by an RBR. Why did you put an RBR round into where friendly... Oh, whatever. It's Arma 3 PvP. Does it look like I know what's going on? Oh no, he's got the AKS-74U with the skeletal stock. All right, Pigeon realized how unfair it would be if an AKS-74 went out and killed all the Blue 4 guys, so he decided to take one for the team and kill his teammate so that he didn't steal all the glory. All right, I actually commend Pigeon for such a fair and honest maneuver to team kill someone with a really OP weapon. You know, I gotta hand it to him. All right, let's all give a round of applause for Pigeon there for being so... Oh, but Anduri doesn't care. No! Pigeon, you forgot to double tap and you just let him kill somebody! Pigeon, you can't finish it! You were supposed to finish it earlier! He tries to amend his mistake, but this AKS-74U is too good! It's too powerful! Ah. 3 minutes. What a scam. You know, is TK Llama still alive? Yep. Still sitting on 14 kills. Again, he's killed... There's 10 kills he doesn't technically have credit for, but... Ay. Oh, they're waking up after that. More AT going up there to suppress. It's over. 2 minutes remain. Llama hunting for more kills. Blue 4's down to 2 people here. They did have the number advantage, and I guess that just got immediately turned around. It's just Lewis and Ash up here. They're touching each other. All right, well, I can't legally film that on Twitch, so I got to give them some privacy. Wink. And it looks like OFCRA is now trying to push more infantry up there to make sure the area is clear. Fawn's forced to flank around, but no, this is GG. Sounds like they're doing double taps. Well, one's a 50 cal Humvee, one's a GMG Humvee. And I think there was only one total because the other side didn't get them, but I'll check the other Blue 4 spawn. Yeah, because these are just 50. Nope, there's a GMG, yeah. Can you imagine if these were actually used today? Those would have been killer. Oh well. I honestly don't think so part-time. That paired with 50 cal Humvees to basically cover them from BTRs, I think would have been fine, but 10 seconds remain, give or take. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll come back, play some Dark Tide till the Pog Up, and then we'll run the Pog Up, and then maybe some mission dev. Giovanni now getting friendly fired. And there it is. 3 points to 7 points. They didn't get the score for the enemy commander kill, even though they killed Wombat, so that was just a bug, but, you know, oh well. And Blue 4 didn't even get the survival bonus, but they got the enemy commander. Okay, so that means it glitched out because Joseph was the enemy commander. So somehow OFCRA messed up the scoring. So if your commander died, you gained a point. Ain't that funny? But anyway, guys, I will be back in a bit. I will do the payout after I kill the stream. So thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers. And I'll be back in like 10 to 15 minutes.